All right, welcome back. So this is our first assignment in Unit 5, and this is 5.2.4. We're going to add a style sheet. So yours does not come with a style sheet already made. But what you're going to want to do is in the top left of your screen or window, you're going to see the new plus button. You're going to click on that, and then you're going to go down to File. Okay, so you do that. You scroll down to File. You'll click on File. It's going to want you to name your style sheet. Now the style sheet is just this right here, style.css. You click on that, or you name it that. It has to be the same uppercase, lowercase, at least if you want the credit. Okay. So, for example, if you capitalize the S, it's likely that the assignment will not give you credit, but we want you to get the credit, so don't capitalize that S. Now I've already done that, and when you do, you'll see that your cascading style sheet, just like this, is going to be blank. Now there's a couple different ways you can navigate on your assignment. Is on the left, in that left window, which I usually close, you'll see index.html and style.css, and you can click on either one. So if I clicked on index.html, I would see this page right here, and if I clicked on style.css, right now it's blank. Or at the top of your code, you'll see a tab that says index.html, and then you'll see another tag that says style.css. Now, since we're working in the style.css, which is being accessed into the index file on, in my case, it's line 5. So you can see we have a link that has a relationship that's a style sheet. The type is a text cascading style sheet, and then the reference is in the style.css cascading style sheet, which again is just blank right now. So we'll want to keep that in mind as we do this assignment. We can go back and forth between the two files. This cascading style sheet is not going to show up in the web page. So it's just metadata up here in the head of our web page. The title, if you were to open this up in a new tab or a new page, it would show up just like you see right here, Edible Animals of Africa, which is what I have as my title. Yours may say something a little different. But again, this line of code right here is pretty crucial because we need this fairly often in order to access the cascading style sheet. And since the style sheet is metadata and it's being applied to the entire web page, we put it in the metadata or the head tag. Now along those lines, what we're doing now, and just like they talked about in the videos, is we're using this line of code to access the style sheet, which is empty. But we used to have to say we're going to put a style in here, and then we would put in rules for tags or IDs or classes, right? Not in that specific order, but you can. But now we're just saying, hey, just go to the style sheet and access it, and then if we want to change a level 1 header or the unordered list or list items or images, then go here to find the rules that we have. And again, right now they're empty, but as we put these rules in, that's going to change. So the first thing we're going to do is take the images, and we're going to give these a rule. Okay. Now you'll see that the images that I have on my web page are kind of large. And you have to scroll down quite far to see these, and for the most part they don't even fit on my screen, at least not for my Chromebook. So this is no good. No, that's not what I wanted. And so I save this, and I can change the size of my images. So that's what I'm going to do. Now you're going to need to follow along with what the assignment says. I'm just going to choose a random value right here. I'm going to make these 100 pixels like this. And we're going to start with the width right here. Now if I save this, I can go to my web page, and if I reload, you can see the width of each of these is all 100 pixels. Now it has made these all a proportional height to the original width and height of the images. Okay, so they're kind of small right there. But the assignment also wants you to change the HEIGHT height of each of these. Again, follow along with the assignments. I'm just going to choose a random value like 100 pixels. And if I go back to my web page and reload this, now they all have the same height. Of course, the giraffe and zebras specifically are especially skewed, so they're not looking like they used to, but that's okay. This is kind of what we're asking for in this assignment. So that's our first rule, and it's being applied to all of the images back here on our original website. and you can see all of our images are being sourced. Okay. The last thing they want us to do is to take the list item. So that's the LI tag, and of course we're not using the angle brackets because we don't need to do that here. Showing LI indicates that it's already a tag, and then of course, like we've seen before, we have specific ways to access classes and IDs. But what it wants on this is a font-size, font-size, colon, and again, just follow along with the assignments, but I'm just going to make this one 24 pixels like this, 24px. Again, you can change it to whatever size you want it to be, but I'm going to go with 24 pixels on this one. Now I've saved this so I can go into my web page and reload, and you can see the text for each of the list items in our unordered list, which we can show here. Here's my unordered list. All six of these animals in the web page changed from whatever their default text size is to being this, what was it, 24 pixels that I chose? Yeah, 24 pixels, okay? And as it turns out, this is all we need to do. But keep in mind that there is more that we could do. So we can come in here. We've already done some stuff with the images. We have some list items, unordered list, like the level 1 headers right there in the style sheet. So again, we access the style sheet through line 5 here, just like we said, which means in the style sheet you can just start adding rules for anything that you want. Again, this is not something that you need to do, and you should probably submit the assignment before you do any of this stuff that I'm going to do here. But if I wanted to, and I wanted to say, let's go ahead and take the level 1 header and give this a rule as well, then I can do that. So let's say, what kind of rule would I want for level 1 header? Maybe I want a background dash color here for my level 1 header, and let's make it black. I usually like a space in between my colon like this. Now watch what happens if I do this. I go in here and reload. It has given this my level 1 header a black background, but the text was black, right? So I can go back into my style sheet and say, well, since the text is already black, let's go and change the color of the text to something else, like something that would show up against the black background, like yellow, let's say. And then let's go and reload this, and now it's a little bit more visible right there, like that. So are we limited to the types of rules that we can put in here? No. Of course, for credit, we need you to put in this kind of stuff, but if you wanted to start tacking on rules for level 1 headers, or let's see, what else do we got, the UL tag, you can do that kind of stuff, okay? So feel free to mess around with that kind of stuff. Of course, get your credit, make sure you get the credit, but really this is all we're looking at right here. Let's make this a little bit bigger for us. I don't know if that helps, but that is the code we need inside of the style.css, our style sheet. So as long as you get that done, get it submitted, and move on. Let's go to the next assignment then.